So if you're planning a corporate event right now, I need you to stop what you're doing and watch this video. Why? Because after helping hundreds of events, I've discovered something most people get wrong. They think that all corporate events are the same. Well, crazy, but they're not. So today I'm going to break down the 4 different kind of corporate events and how to plan them the right way. What's the best part? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes each event unique and how to plan them like a pro. I'm Thomas Maziman, CEO of Team Out. If you don't know us, we are an event planning tech company that organizes over 1,000 events for companies like Reddit, Netflix. And trust me, this isn't just theory. This is based on real experience with real events that actually work in 2025. So if you want to learn the exact differences between planning a sales kickoff versus a client event and why that matters, keep watching. So before we dive in, if you want more content like this one about event planning and scaling your events program, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Okay, let's start with sales kickoff and company events. This is what might surprise you. From our experience, these events are 50-50. It means 50% work, 50% fun. And it's super important to know that before you're actually gonna find the right venue for it. Now, most people planning for an event for the first time start looking at downtown hotels in major cities like Miami or Cancun. Well, that's a big mistake. This is what actually works. You want something experiential, typically outside of the city. I'm talking about places where your team can actually connect. And there are 3 non-negotiable things here. The first one, natural light meeting space. Trust me, nobody wants to be in a bunker for hours, especially when you're talking about goals for the new year. Number 2, outdoor areas for activities. That's super important. Number 3, and most importantly, it needs to be no more than 1 hour from an airport. So size-wise now, we're typically looking at events between 30 and 300 people. And here's a pro tip for you. If you're running an event for under 50 people, you probably want a boutique venue that can be completely yours. It creates actually this incredible sense of exclusivity, which is exactly what you want for an event like this. Okay, now let's talk budget. So these events usually run on budget between $1,500 and $2,500 per person. But here's the key. It's how you allocate it. Mix up meals between simple hotel options and a few outdoor dinners. For smaller groups, you can leave a few nights open for restaurant items. Your team is going to love it. And finally, always have a stellar welcome reception and closing dinner. This is what makes or break an event. Okay, here's a mistake I see a lot of people making. They either make it all work or all play. Remember, that's a 50-50 split, right? So you want to nail it and get it right. My first tip, morning for focused work sessions, afternoon split between strategic meetings and team activities, and finally evenings for more organic networking and team building. Okay, one more thing. If you're planning for tech companies or team with engineers, keep the activities low impact. Nobody wants to do swimming competition with their colleagues, especially engineers. Okay, so now let's talk about leadership offsite events. So when it comes to leadership offsite events, everything changes. And this is what I mean. So you executives are not just looking for another meeting in an exotic destination. They're looking for an experience. So let me break down exactly what works for leadership events. First, forget about these big chain hotels. For leadership offsites, you're looking at something boutique, 40-50 room max. Why? Because you executives, they want privacy and exclusivity. They don't want to share property with 3 other corporate groups. Okay, when it comes to location, this is where you can get really fancy. We're talking about Aruba, Costa Rica, high-end destinations where your leaders can actually disconnect and have these really important conversations. Here's what's actually fascinating about leadership events. They're not actually focused on activities itself. Instead, you want to focus on elevated experiences, which is not something you would typically do with other type of events. We want to focus on private dining experiences, high-end spa facilities, golf courses, or maybe like a scenic boat tour. When it comes to group size, it's typically smaller. We're talking 10 to 30 people max. And budget, this is where you can actually go premium because the ROI on this kind of investment is huge. When leaders are in the right environment, they have slept well. This will heavily impact the quality of the conversation. And remember one thing, some of the most important company decisions are made right there. On average, I'm seeing companies spend anywhere between $3K to $5K per person. This is where it gets really interesting. While leadership events focus really on strategic thinking, client events and president clubs on the other side are following a completely different rulebook. Okay, let me show you exactly what I mean by that. Clients events and president's club. So you may think, what client events and president clubs have in common? Well, it's actually easy. They are incentive trips built to reward employees or customers. So for those events, you want to forget the boring and work stuff. This is 100% a fun event. And this is going to have a huge impact on the venues you're going to pick. Don't make the common mistake I see people make all the time of booking a Marriott or Hilton hotels in a big city. This is the framework we've been using for every successful client event. It's called the AAA approach. Number one, amazing location. Think Caribbean, Mexico, Hawaii. Number two, absolute luxury, top tier results only. Number three, authentic experiences, and this is the secret sauce. Actually, I'm going to share an example. Salesforce is actually very famous for hosting their yearly President's Club in Hawaii at the Andaz Maui. It's actually the place they're going. This destination has become so iconic that every year all the salespeople were invited at posting on social media, and this has gathered hundreds of thousands of likes combined. This is exactly the kind of impact you want to have when you're designing an event. Okay, here's another tip you want to consider when planning this event. Because these events are supposed to be fun and chill, you don't want to charge the agenda with too many things. Okay, let me share a quick story of the things you don't want to do. We once had a client, a Series C company from San Francisco. They insisted on scheduling every minute of the President's Club. What's the result? Well, the top performers, which are supposed to be rewarded, were actually sneaking out our activities just to get some downtime. So the next year, we flipped the script and we did only 2 mandatory group dinners, 1 signature group lunch, and everything else, optional luxury experiences. The feedback, it was the best President's Club they ever had. Okay, here's another insider tip most people miss. Okay, most of these events are also open to plus ones, so it means partners and spouses are also invited too. So when that's the case, you want to include things like couple spa treatments, partner excursions, flexible dining credits, 150 to 100 per room. That's actually super appreciated. And keep in mind that these events are usually between 2,500 and 3,500 per person. Sometimes even more if you have plus ones. Okay, now we're speaking about budget. There's one type of event where companies are constantly underestimating costs by around 40%. It's not client events, it's something much closer to home. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, finally, let's talk about holiday parties and day events. Yeah, and this is a 40% budget mistake that I mentioned earlier. So companies, when they are usually planning these events, they always think it's going to be cheaper than it actually is because they think these events are really short. In my experience, this event costs at least $300 per person, and I see so many companies coming to us with a $100 budget. It's possible for sure, but it's probably not going to be the experience you want to design for your team. Here are my tips for a successful event. First, timing is everything. For holiday parties, Thursday nights are prime time. November, December are usually your key months. Okay, here's what's interesting about day events. They have been changing over the years. Instead of stuffy ballrooms that was kind of the norm for the past few years, now we're seeing more success with converted spaces that are not traditional venues like a converted art gallery or like a warehouse. Venues usually that indoor and outdoor area, a place that can handle like a big group. That's very important. Yeah, and speaking of which, actually I'm going to share a quick story. So we recently helped a pharma company transform their traditional holiday party by hosting their events in an art gallery. They used to have done it in traditional hotels in the past few years and wanted to change things a little bit. So we created multiple entertainment zones. We added interactive elements like food stations and live music. And what's really funny is they told us the attendance for this event was 95% against 60 from the past years. So that's a very big improvement. Okay, here's a quick checklist for these events. First one, you want entertainment. That's your priority. You want you want to have a band, you want to have DJs, you want to have some form of interactive elements. Usually plus one are invited. The food should be great. There's so many employees who are picky, you have no idea. And finally, always plan for more spaces than you actually need. Okay, here's that final secret I promise. The most successful corporate events are not about the biggest budgets or the fanciest venues. Now you understand, they're about matching the right approach to the right type of event. Okay, let me break it down one last time. Sales kickoff need that perfect 50-50 split of work and connection. Leadership of sites requires more exclusivity and strategic spaces. Client events demand more luxury and freedom. And finally, day events, they need energy and interaction. And usually the best event happens in non-conventional spaces. Look, at that point, I've seen companies waste hundreds of thousands of dollars by applying the wrong formula to the wrong event. But now, hopefully, you know exactly how to approach each one. If you're planning any of these events right now, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. Tell me which kind of event you're doing and what kind of help you're looking for. I read every comment and I will try to help you out as much as I can. Okay, if you want to organize your next event and you feel like you need help, you can book a free call with someone from my team and it will help you get started. See you in the next video.